evening, all the panelists, all the participants who are attending this webinar. So on behalf of Public Relations Council of India, especially the Delhi chapter, and on behalf of my office bearers, we welcome all the distinguished panelists. And today we are joined by our National President, Mr. T. Vinay Kumar. We have Shri S. Narendra Ji, who needs no introduction. He is the former information advisor to 4 Prime Ministers of India. And he served in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Thailand as foreign correspondent and written various articles on tourism. And he also organized a seminar in 1997 that how to revive tourism in Kashmir. So what an experience we are getting today from him, because today again we have to revive tourism in a big way. We have also with us a very dynamic lady, Ms. C. Lekha. She is the Director and Corporation Communication Brand Reputation of Indigo Airlines. And you know, the Indigo has got the maximum share of domestic passengers in the aviation industry. She is a mentor, a coach to high-performing teams, specializing in driving digital marketing, brand strategy, global events, corporate management, and a very unique thing I have seen, she is also into crisis communication, which is a very relevant subject for today's webinar. And she has been rewarded with Women's Achievers Award for 2021 and so many other awards she has won. We have also Nitika Das with us. Welcome, Nitika ji. She is a hospitality professional. Her studies are from University of Leeds. Ms. Das has been awarded the most influential PR person of the year at the Hotelier Indian Awards in the year 2015 and 16. So we are honored to have you here. So you can see the women empowerment in our panel. Then we have a very dynamic person with us, Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, who is the Director General of International Chamber for Service Industry. He is a mentor, life coach, and he is doing during this pandemic so many webinars. I think more than 2,000 webinars he has done in last 1 year, which is a great achievement. And you know, I told him that if someone here to you for 1 hour, he doesn't need any COVID vaccination. So welcome, Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji, with your energy and everything. And we have Mr. Sudhir Sopti, who is also our Vice Chairman of PRCI Delhi chapter. Mr. Sudhir Sopti is the student of tourism. We are from the same college. He passed out his graduation in tourism. Then he had a long stint with Delhi Tourism Development Corporation. He was heading the communication department, and under his leadership, lots of events for Delhi happened, like the Mango Festival, the Garden of Five Senses Festival. Then he represented Delhi Tourism, the Delhi State in the Cannes Film Festival for 3 times. And he was influential in making the film tourism policy for Delhi a one-window clearance. And he has done so many events with us with the support of Delhi Tourism Development Corporation. And as I told, we will be soon joined by our we have joined by our mentor, our chairman, Mr. M.B. Jairam, who is the energy, the force behind Public Relations Council of India. I think he, out of 24 hours, he is devoting 20 hours to Public Relations Council of India. And Mr. T. Vinay Kumar, we are grateful for your guidance and support. And we work together and make sure that PRCI will reach greater heights under your leadership. So now today's subject, as we know, this pandemic, this COVID crisis is, I think, shaken the entire world. So we will be talking about travel, tourism, and hospitality industry, which has been affected the most. It has been discussed all over the world. The entire world is at standstill, whether the hotels which are crowded with travelers, with customers, with MICE, with convention, weddings, everything is at standstill. So today, now the world is opening up. So we have to see that it will be totally a different world now. the travel will be very safe and responsible. Earlier, the countries wants to get maximum number of travelers, but now they want not only maximum number of travelers, they want safe and responsible traveler, because they are also concerned about their citizen also. So that's why you see lots of discussions going on with various countries, WHO. I worked very closely with BFS, who is the main organization attached to all the embassies. The visa procedures will be changed. So our main aim is how we can create a positive approach, a confidence building in the traveler, that they will come back in a big way to start travel again, because travel and tourism is a very important part for any country, for their economy, for their employment. So everybody was under fear in last 1.5 years. So according to me, fear has two meanings: either forget everything and run away, or face everything and rise. I think we have to face and we have to rise. So that's why we called all the eminent panelists today. So before starting this panel discussion, I will ask Mr. Jairam to say a few words. Please, sir, over to you.
Sorry, I thought I was late because I had a meeting. I just came. Good evening, everyone. Rajanji, it was nice, now the time up. I don't want to take much of your time. You have selected the best of the lot. It is very happy occasion, and even after 1 month, we are going to discuss the same subject during our 15th conclave also. I think you will get our friends also there. They can give some light on this, the tourism, PR communication and during COVID, it is a problem for all of us. Even we are going to Goa with all difficulties, we'll have to take vaccinations, all kind of tests before 72. Still, people like to have, a lot of fun, a lot of things in the days to come, because last 2 years, they're fed up of their life, sitting at home, doing all works at home. They need to see the world, at least now. You will have to show us what kind of way out for all this. I'm sure that your people will give us some light on this. Let us hear them instead of talking and wasting the time. Let us hear them. I'm happy that you have taken a very nice subject today. Let us all listen to them. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Dr. T. Vinay Kumar, a few motivational words from your side before we start the discussion.
Thank you, Rajan Sehgal, Jairamji, and Sudhir Sopti, and all the distinguished speaker, Narendra ji, and all are very, very learned persons. And I don't want to, again, so as Jairamji very clearly mentioned, we don't want to waste the time. Let us come back. Let us come to the real topic. Actually, I was just attending our Rotary meeting. So it was a physical meeting. Kerala, as you know, is having the maximum number of COVID cases now, and the TPR rate is very high. Today, it has touched 16. So even in spite of everything, the secretary was telling, we should all have COVID. Let us face it. Let us have it. Then we will not be having any problem. That is the attitude the Kerala people are having now. They are so desperate. They want to do a lot of traveling. They want to come out like anything. Kerala people are very much fond of traveling and visiting places. So we are all now constrained to be at our houses. It is creating a lot of mental problems also. So even for me, I was telling them, I used to go to office every day. Now I am not going to office every day. So after some time, what will happen? You will become lazy, and going to office will be another new normal for you. So, so you have to be real tough it will be. So I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, but let us all be positive. And we are celebrating our cultural festival Onam. After tomorrow is our Onam, the same, but all are desperate, and it is not the real festive mood is not there. Otherwise, a lot of things will happen during this Onam time. But next time we are all hopeful that we will celebrate it. And I invite all of you to Kerala to celebrate Onam next year. That is a hope we are having. With these few words now, I would like to say that this is a very relevant topic you have selected, and let us listen to the experts. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, all the Delhi chapter members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And we wish you a very happy Onam. And I hope we'll take your invitation. We'll accept it. Everybody will be there next year, hope so. So yeah. I think definitely, sir. And, as Mr. Jairam said, we'll having our PRCI annual convention next month in Goa, where the Honorable Governor has already agreed that he will inaugurate our convention. And there we have also taken one panel discussion on tourism. And I think it will be a great success. A lot of registrations
and the Chief Minister too on the next day.
Oh, that's great. So it's what a great motivation for everybody that Governor and Chief Minister will be part of our PRCI convention. And we will definitely bring all these panelists over there because they are representing aviation industry, the hospitality industry. Narendra ji is the expert of is an all-rounder. Then Major Gulshan Sharma ji. Once you hear him, you will definitely going to invite him to Goa. And Sudhir Sophi is again evergreen face. So let's start with S. Narendra ji. Sir, you have, when we were talking, you told me that you have done a seminar in 1997, how to revive tourism in Kashmir. Sir, the condition is again the same. Now, how to revive tourism again? So can you throw some light on that and give us some kind of guidance and motivation, sir? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Greetings to everybody. I don't want to waste time in formalities. I will just briefly speak so that I want to hear the other speakers who are more knowledgeable about the subject. My brush with tourism and hospitality industry started in 1967 when I was information officer working under Dr. Karan Singh. He was the first tourism minister of India. In fact, tourism gained a recognition in 1967. The communication that are going on in those days, it is known as dream merchandising. You could promise a lot, under-deliver, and nobody could complain. But Google and iPhone have changed totally the communication of the hospitality industry. Because today, the credibility threshold of tourism communication has vastly increased. What you promise, just as iPhone said first, what you see and what you get. Because of Google Maps and the smartphones today, what we promise, we have to deliver. If you under-deliver, you get a backlash. So the credibility threshold has vastly increased. Now, today we are talking of tourism when it is almost lying low due to the pandemic. In the pandemic situation, it is not going to go away for the next 3-4 years, maybe. Therefore, to talk of post-pandemic is not yet, I think it is rather premature. How do we revive the economic sector, particularly something like tourism, which had a great multiplier effect in economic terms, in spite of COVID? The great problem today is all of us, there is an emergency fatigue. There is a COVID protocol fatigue. All of us would like to take off our masks. We want to resume our normal life, but in a new normal situation. That new normal situation calls for an assurance to me, if I am a consumer of the hospitality, and whether I want to stay in a hotel, whether I want to travel, any aspect of hospitality, if I want to be on the demand side as a consumer, am I going to be safe post-holiday? So the credibility threshold, one side, because of COVID, because of Google and the smartphone, that demanded different kind of a transparency in communication. But today, in the pandemic situation, if you really want to make people get out of their houses and venture out, are they taking a risk? How do we minimize the fear of risks? It is not selling. We give the best food, we give the best scenery, etc. today. In addition to that, you have to assure the consumer a lot more that he's going to be safe. But unfortunately today, what is happening is the borders are getting closed and open. So when the borders are getting closed and open, the uncertainty increases. Today, we are getting all kinds of offers saying that you can book your holiday at a discount, say in 2022. Well, along with that discount, how do you give the safety protocol credibility? That becomes a challenge. Another challenge that we are facing today is the climate change. How to make tourism sustainable? Because in most of the, if you go to Europe today, particularly in winter for any winter sports, etc., the kind of sustainability test they administer there is a lot more. In India, we have not yet come to that. For instance, many of the wildlife sanctuaries, if you visit today, one sees people do not follow any kind of discipline there. There is an environmental damage. The tourists are creating a lot more carbon footprint than necessary. This is another aspect we need to take on board when we think of tourism communication. What I did in 1997, the situation same in Kashmir. Again, just as we had to assure pandemic protocol safety, in Kashmir also, we had the same problem. People were really feeling insecure. How to assure them that there is security first? Then the Kashmir houseboat experience and the rest of it comes. But I do not want to talk about Kashmir today because the situation is the same. Therefore, what I'm trying to say is there are 3 tests we need to administer if you are undertaking any kind of a PR, any kind of a communication for revival of tourism. First is observing the pandemic protocol safety. The second thing that we need to do is those who are brave enough today to travel, enjoy tourism, come back, getting their testimonials that it is safe to travel. Today, that kind of communication I have not seen much from those who have ventured out, come back safely and say it is safe to go there. For my own daughter and son-in-law, last week went somewhere. They came back and they said, oh, all the protocol that we expected, which they promised, were not observed. It is a 5-star hotel. If that kind of a communication comes back and starts spreading, particularly with the social media effect today, it is going to damage further. We had to be a little more restrained in our communication, increase the threshold of credibility, and then move forward. I don't think things will improve in the next 2-3 years because that is what the international health experts are predicting. We have to live with a pandemic, and like in any other economic sector, even the hospitality industry have to develop a survival kit, and the communication has to take out of the survival kit a credibility test for itself. Once that credibility is established, at least selectively, certain sectors of the hospitality industry will be able to survive. But the face of the hospitality industry will totally change. It is not going to be what it was. For instance, when you talk about hospitality industry, restaurant business, food businesses, these will not be the same. But when you want people to move out of their houses, come back to restaurants, come back to tourist places, the credibility threshold has to be increased in our communication and PR. Do not promise something and under-deliver on the safety protocols, then there will be a backlash. That's all I want to say. If there is time later, I may come back. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. You have really given us a great start for this panel discussion, and the knowledge which you have shared, I think it was very, very relevant. And as you said, the sustainable, we have to care for environment. So I'll give you a small example, sir. On a Delhi-Jaipur highway, just before Manesar, there is a resort called Karma Lakelands. It is scattered in over 300 acres of land. And the man who owns that Karma Lakeland resort, you know, he follows that guidelines from the last 10 to 12 years, you know, and that is paying now, and his resort is doing very well. Because when your car reaches the main gate, if you honk, if your driver makes a horn, the gatekeeper has instructions not to open the gate for 5 minutes, just to make them realize that there is no need to honk. And you know, if you are throwing your cigarette butts while playing a golf, you will be asked to go back to your home without giving refund of your green fees. So these are the small things which they have created awareness over there. So I think we should follow this. And now I will invite a dynamic lady, Ms. Likhaji, who is, you know, there to connect people from one place to another. So that's how the tourism starts. If we have a mode, how to connect people by rail, by air, by road from one place to another, then the hotels comes into picture, the monuments comes into picture, the infrastructure comes into picture. So I think better we start because once earlier, you know, before this pandemic, when the people were going to airport to board any airline, they were so happy, they were so relaxed. You know, the children were enjoying having coffee at the airport, snacks, and you know, now the scene has totally changed. So how are you building confidence among the travelers, first of all, after the first unlock, that the airline is the most safest way of travel, and what you are doing? Because I think still 60% load is there on the domestic carrier. So what all efforts you are doing, and what is your role at the moment? Over to you, Lekha.
Thank you, Mr. Sehgal, and a very good evening to all my fellow panelists. I will also like to kind of take on from what Mr. Narendra said. I think it is about developing a credibility quotient and then delivering on what you promise. I think that is exactly what has been IndiGo's USP right from the beginning when this pandemic hit us for the first time. I mean, as everyone knows, airline was one business that actually went shut for a good 2 months. And we took that time to actually not sit back and say, oh my God, what are we going to do? But more to sit and think that when this opens back, which we were sure it'll take its time. No one knew when that would happen. But really, when it does open, what's the first thing that the customer is going to look for? So, you know, we started our assessment of what we need to deliver once we are back to restarting our business. I think that has been our, sort of foundation. And throughout the last 1.5 years, that has served us well. As Mr. Narendra pointed out, the customer today, and as Mr. Sehgal, you also said, the customer today is looking for safety. He's looking for hygiene. I think that has become not the new normal anymore. This is the normal, and this is what is going to be the future as well. The assurance for passengers that that we are going to do everything that we need to do to ensure that they are safe. In fact, the definition of safety has also undergone a change in these last 1.5 years. Earlier, it used to be, when we talked about safety, it used to be about engine safety or aircraft safety. Today, it has become all about customer safety. And I think we were globally one of the first airlines to introduce something known as a safety kit. We have a mask, we have a sanitizer, we have PPE kits, we have, we created a whole program called the Lean Clean Flying Machine, which has been our sort of voice and communication to the customers across the various platforms. And this was not just like a brand name. It was something that we were delivering at every step of the way, right from the time when the customer would sort of, decide to travel, then kind of come to the airport, get onto the aircraft, get off the aircraft, pick up his bag and go out of the airport. Throughout that journey with the customer life cycle, we actually map every touch point to see where it is, what we need to do to ensure that the customer feels safe while setting his foot on an aircraft or traveling. For example, making our entire booking process contactless. Everything was made digital. I think the leaps and bounds that digital grew by in these last 1.5 years would probably be more than it has done in the last 15 years. So, necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention, and that's what the digital transformation has been all about. Today, you can get your boarding pass, your bag tags, you can do your, entire process of check-in actually online. So when you come to the airport, and in case you're not even carrying a bag, you can straight away walk into the security clearance. You don't even need to stop anywhere. And that is a norm that is there to stay. Then once the customers reach, we are kind of constantly advising them, our ground crew, our staff, they're constantly advising them at the airports to maintain social distancing, to have their masks on. In fact, a lot of enablement has also come from different industry bodies and regulatory authorities. The DGCA ensuring by saying that if the customer is not wearing a mask, the airlines have the prerogative to tell them not to travel with us if they're not listening to us. That has been a great enablement. Then working with bodies like IATA, who have actually given us a lot of information, who've done a lot of research. The fact that, the HEPA filters in the aircraft ensure that it's almost like a hospital zone sort of environment. That's how safe it is. That's how clean it is inside an aircraft. Why we are looking at aircraft travel better than rail travel. So really doing all those kind of mappings. And what we have done is we've not just mapped ourselves against what is happening in India, but we've kind of mapped ourselves against what is happening around the globe to ensure that we bring the best practices, the best services for our customers' safety to India. Just as an enablement to share, very recently we announced something known as the vaccination passport. IATA has been talking about it for a long time, and we are the first airline in India to sign up for it. And tomorrow we actually start the trials. So, steps like this, which ensure that we make it easy for our customer to travel with all the protocols in place. That has been our guiding mantra throughout this journey in the last 1.5 years. In fact, what we have noticed, and Mr. Narendra touched upon it, we've actually done a lot of customer testimonials as well. We've been looking at social media as our touch point for communication. We've got customers putting in their tweets. They've been talking about their journey with us. We've also had a lot of people, sort of like celebrities who've come out and spoken for us, social influencers. So we really make sure that we get the message across, percolated to everybody across the country. Of course, right now it is all about domestic travel, but we plan to do the same things and more so when we actually open up the international borders. Another aspect that we saw at this time was this whole phenomenon of first-time travelers. People who were going to actually, traveling from small cities to towns, or vice versa, reverse trend, or even now revenge travel, which is something that we've touched upon. A lot of people are actually flying with us for the first time. So we've actually developed a whole new program where our crew, our staff is actually trained on something known as empathetic communication. Because these people are coming aboard for the first time with us, they need a lot more hand-holding than a normal corporate customer. We've actually undergone, the entire organization in the last 1.5 years has undergone this training side by side to ensure that we are able to handhold and guide these customers when they come aboard our aircraft so that we give them an experience to come back again, over and above the whole safety aspect that I spoke about. So really, we've just kind of been really developing this whole ecosystem, so to say, which delivers a safe flying experience for our customers with all the steps that I talked about.
Thank you. I think you have given us a very great inputs for as far as the aviation industry is concerned. And I know why IndiGo has taken the maximum domestic share because of your way of working, I work very closely with the management, and when I asked the director, then he and the CEO, they said, you are the right person for this panel discussion. So thank you for joining us, and we'll be coming back to you. And I know the Major Saab, you gave a lot of respect to the ladies, so I don't dare to invite you. I am inviting Nitika Dasji before you. She is from the hospitality industry, because Likha ji has very carefully brought the passenger to your destination. Now you have to take care of their stay. So what all hospitality industry is doing, because I know I was with ITC for almost 11 years, and I know how the hotels were bustling with the travelers. But now when I go to the big hotels in the cities, we feel very, very sad after spending almost more than 35 years in the travel and tourism industry. I know the hotels in Srinagar, which are close to the hills or on the beaches, open much more resorts, heritage properties, they are doing very well. But the hotel industry, the main hotel chains, so I know people are very reluctant to come in that closed door buildings. So what all, Nitika, you have faced in the last 1.5 years, and what all you are doing to revive the hospitality industry? Over to you, Nitika.
Thank you, Rajan sir. It's a pleasure to be on as a panelist here. I have heard Narendra ji and Lekha speak such great things about the industry reviving, and the way Lekha mentioned about all the initiatives that the aviation industry is taking is just a step towards what we can build and how far we can take this revival program. Very briefly, I will just mention about myself. I am a hospitality professional currently. I am working with the Hyatt Group of Hotels as the marketing director for the country. I'm taking care of marketing, public relations, and digital media. Digital media, as Lekha ji mentioned, it has become big. Kuch 1.5 saal mein social media ka jo proliferation hua hai, it has been leaps and bounds, right? People used to spend about 4 to 6.5 hours a day. And in this entire 1.5 year, Instagram is making more money, and LinkedIn, Instagram is making more money than any other traditional form of marketing. What I have seen to all the panelists and everyone, I mean, and it's a great discussion forum, I think, for all of us, but the travel industry, especially, there are different segments in the travel industry. Rajan ji, like I was mentioning, in the hospitality industry, you have from mid and affordable luxury to semi-luxury to upscale luxury to mid-segment hotels, budget hotels, economy hotels, covering the entire gamut of hotels, including the Airbnb also, which is these luxury rentals or even regular rentals. The industry, according to me, is booming. Over the last 4 months, I think I've just come back from Kathmandu. We have a hotel that is about 37 years old. It's Hyatt Regency Kathmandu. We're opening 2 more hotels, Hyatt Place, and then we have another hotel called Yak and Yeti in Nepal. So 3 hotels in Nepal. And we are looking at the revival of business, of leisure travel. So abhi kya ho raha hai? The trend is that people in the local area, in the city and in the vicinity, they travel. So for our hotels like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Chennai, jo city hotels hai, the Hyatt is a very business oriented hotel. We have also seen an influx of people traveling in the city to come and spend weekend, like a staycation, or you have work from Hyatt or work from any other hotel, these are these campaigns that are being run. Say that you are tired of sitting 1.5 years in your house. So you have work from the hotel of your choice. So work from your Taj, work from Oberoi. And everybody is having different kinds of inclusions to sweeten the deal a little more. Somebody is including lunch, somebody is including brunch, somebody is including some other amenities of saying, if you can hire a room or hire a suite for a workation, you can probably get 2 to 3 hours of meeting spaces. And these meeting spaces are conference rooms, which you can use for something called hybrid meeting. Hybrid meeting is if you can be sitting in Timbuktu, in Florida, in Hampi, and India, Delhi, Bombay, you can conduct any kind of meeting with the kind of a digital connect and technological advancement without any glitch of who's performing or who's presenting what. I mean, it's a whole new way of doing business today. And it is one step ahead of Zoom and one step ahead of all our video chat platforms that we are using. These are hybrid meeting platforms are used by companies like JP Morgan. We are right now having McKinsey that is doing about 3.5 months of only hybrid meetings across Asia Pacific, EMISWA region, all the other regions in the entire globe. So my point is, we are looking at trends that are emerging. Okay, earlier hotels which were in the city would do business. So MICE was a very predominant segment. Your business travel, your corporate travel was very big. Today, those destinations have shifted and they've become Hyatt Place Hampi. So Hampi is a drive-down destination from Bangalore and Hyderabad for about 5 hours. So you see these trend of spaces which are drive-down destinations with family, with friends, with reunions. These are doing much better. Like you have Bodh Gaya, you have Rameshwaram, you have Raipur, you have Hampi, like I mentioned. You have Khyber resorts in Kashmir. Today, Khyber is doing exponentially well because everybody is looking at their marketing. And their marketing is all through social media. So, and Goa is now opening up. So the trend that we are seeing is everybody is following the same of doing something ahead of what you used to usually travel for, which was business, which was MICE, which was events. Today, it is more community building. So people are going for yoga ashram. They are going for a detox. You go to Kathmandu. I right now launched a program in Kathmandu called the Wellness Project under Hyatt. So that wellness project is people can go for a week, go detox, go to the monasteries, create a whole program of, you know, living holistically, meditating, coming back to the country, and again, getting back to work. So that's my point. That's my take on the hospitality industry, Rajanji. And thank you once again for everyone, to everyone. And,
yeah, no, thank you. That's great. You know, just before this webinar, we have an inaugural session. We organized 3 days Southeast Asia Golf Tourism Show, and the DG Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India just inaugurated at 5:20 in the evening. And you know, there we decided that golf tourism is a very big segment. And in Hyatt Kathmandu, the GM, Mr. Girish Vindra, you know, we used to bring a lot of golfers, and we are again planning to take golfers to Kathmandu because golf courses are the most safest place. They are open, close to the nature. There is no social distancing problem. So what we have decided in our inaugural webinar, and the DG Tourism has also liked this idea, we are going to invite most of the GMs from the 5- and 4-star hotels, and we are doing a half-a-day seminar in the first week of September, how to make golf-friendly hotels. You know, when a golfer is coming, he needs different kind of services. You know, if he's going for an early morning game, he doesn't need a heavy breakfast. He needs a packed breakfast. How the bell boy should take care of his golf bag. And the most important part, Likhaji, which will be coming to you, where when a golfer is traveling with his 15 kilogram of bag, he has a lot of excess baggage. You know, countries like Thailand, which are booming with golf tourism, more than 2 lakh golfers visits their country every year. Not only tourists, but golfers. So they have waived off the golf bag charges. So similarly, we have requested the Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Civil Aviation that we should have something fixed price for a sports equipment. And yesterday, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi ji met all the Olympians at his residence, and he asked them that if you have any specific problems or requirements, you let us know. So I think that problem also we are sending it to him, that whenever a sports person is traveling with his sports equipment, the excess baggage charges should be fixed one. We've done a very big event on 12th and 13th of April in Srinagar, where we arranged, besides a film tourism, we took fashion designers, we took chefs. So we arranged a golf package of a golf tournament also. And the golfer have to pay 8,000 to 9,000 rupees going and coming back as the excess baggage, which was more than their air ticket. So that is the hurdle which we have to look into that. And Mr. Kapil Bhatia, the MD of Indigo, is a great keen golfer. So I also told him about this. So let's see if we can do something. And this golfers, GM's seminar, how to convert golf-friendly hotels. You know, you have huge space in the hotels, in the lawn, where you can make a chipping or a putting greens over there, you know, like Taj Palace in Delhi has made a whole putting green. So we can do a lot of activities. These are the things which people are looking for now. So thank you very much, Nitika, for your hospitality part. Now we'll come to our expert, our all-rounder, who has done, I think, so many webinars touching all the aspects and segments of travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma ji. Now you have listened to all the panelists. Please give your views and suggestions. Welcome.
Most respected our brothers, ladies, and gentlemen. World over, I've got a lot of delegates. Those are joining from Canada, United States, Latin America, European Union, Central Asia, Middle East as well, because our chamber basically takes care of the non-resident Indians. There are very, we would say that privileged people, those are associated with our chamber across the world. Now, when I talk about the PR and communication this evening, something which comes, God had been extra kind to me that coming from the armed forces, I served the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and thereafter for the last 27 years being associated and rose from the director to director general in the same hierarchy in this particular chamber. It gives me a great privilege because today almost 12 lakh members across the world, those are very keen to do something for India, whatever best they can do. We have got approximately 31.4 million NRIs at present abroad. And our chamber in 1994 initially brought Punjabi Parvasi Divas. And in 2003, within the Honorable Prime Minister of India, the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. So it's a great privilege and it's a proud privilege. God had been extra kind. When I look at Jairam ji, I was just trying to recollect so many things this evening. There was a wonderful evening a couple of years back in Chandigarh in the Hotel Mount View in the evening when Charanjit was the president or I think in charge officer. So when we call PR and communication, PR stands for public relation, but I think I will take it to the new dimension because post-pandemic new names are coming up. So let it be a positive response. Instead of public relations, let it be positive response. That evening, 2 hours before the actual event, there was some kind of, I think, engagement or some difficulty, some problem. And the chief guest finally declined and he was unable to come. He was called. And I was given a task that you have to arrange a chief guest for the function at the Hotel Mount View. And I brought the Honorable Education, Technical Education, and the Tourism Minister of Punjab for that function. That was wonderful. But I was just keeping in mind, how is it possible that over the years, there is no change in Jairamji, what I saw him that time and what I saw him today. I think it's a wellness tourism which he is promoting. Might be the yoga or meditation or naturopathy, or he might be getting him in a Brahma Muhurat. I don't know. But there is something he has maintained intact, what I saw him that time. There is no change. I must compliment you that time. It's a proud privilege that we are meeting a very distinguished S. Narendra ji. I heard so much about him. And sir, it's a privilege to sharing this platform with you this evening because Rajan Sehgal ji mentioned so much about you and you have served, you have worked with so many distinguished Prime Minister of India. So your vision, I think we are nowhere. We got to learn and we got to pick up a lot from you. Coming to the communication, that's again very interesting. All these 27 years when I've been teaching abroad, 2 months, sometime in America, sometime in Canada, sometime in Europe, and somewhere in Australia, New Zealand, wherever I have gone, I learned one thing. It's no more communication. It's no more communication. It's connecting. We have gone beyond communication. It is called connecting. The highest paid person in the world today is an Indo-Cuban who charges 30 lakh per day for the webinar and for the seminar and for the conference and for a 6 hours program. If somebody can get 30 lakh for 6 hours, it means that person is somewhere moving ahead of communication, and that is called connecting. And when he starts, he says it's no more communication. It's connecting heart to heart, connecting soul to soul, connecting mind to mind, connecting vision to vision, connecting need to need, and connecting with the humanity. And what S. Narendra sir mentioned initially, that promise less, deliver more. I think that should be the mantra post-pandemic. We all have to pick up. What happens is we might be a dream merchants. We might be promising the moon and all that. That time has gone that you promise moon and people land up in the stars. No, it's not the way. I think it's better to promise less, but to give more. That should be the mantra we have to take on. Now, let me move further into the journey. And when we take on, I still look at what exactly was the need. That 25th of March 2020 was the lockdown, complete lockdown in the country. And tourism is so fragile, so volatile, that with tourism, so many other things are woven, because with tourism is a hospitality, hotel industry, airline industry, retail industry. One more industry next to my heart, because during my tenure with the Ministry of Tourism, we initiated Surbhi. That is Renuka Shane and Siddharth Kak. It was based on tourism. Thereafter, we had launched Mrignani. That was Pallavi Joshi again promoting tourism. And thereafter, we had gone for All India Tourism Quiz Contest with Mr. Sudhir Sopti. I still recall that time, Ashok Pradhan and all these people. A lot of things had happened at that point of time. But today with the social media, like initially S. Narendra sir was telling, that today the social media is so transparent. Now coming on to, I wish to understand, when we were having so many challenges from 25th of March 2020 onwards, and there's complete lockdown on everything, what was the need? What was the necessity? What was the requirement? What was the demand? And what exactly was up the mind in the Honorable Prime Minister of India, that in the complete lockdown, in the middle of the lockdown, on 29th of July 2020, the new education policy of India was declared, launched, and given the green signal. And with that policy, there was a complete turning on to, after 34 years, that now onward, your curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, and your sports and everything is going to be the integral part of education. They are not going to be separate. So my appeal to the entire universe and all the people, those are joining this particular program, why tourism should be a separate subject. Tourism should be an integral part of our basic education curriculum, because education is what? My art, my craft, my culture, my Sanskriti, my values, my cuisine, my dances, my music, my display, my living, my lifestyle. Why it should be separate subject? Why not tourism should be the integral part of the main curriculum of the country? And tourism, if Madam Lekha has to send people, there are 5 Londons world over. That's a quiz question. There are 5 Londons world over. She was talking about IATA and everything. I hold my master's and PhD both into tourism and service industry. And when she was talking about, when you teach geography from a tourism angle with music, the child will never forget. When you teach history with music and with tourism, the child will never forget. Why don't we bring music, dances, games, storytelling, humor, laughter, happiness? This all is coming from my heart. I don't need any script. I don't need anything, because this should come from within. Tourism cannot be taught like a subject. Tourism has to be integral passion of a person, people, those are associated with the tourism industry. It is not a subject which can be taught history of tourism, theory of tourism, practices of, no. Tourism is the integral part of my life, my living, my day-to-day. What I breathe is tourism. because मेरे संस्कार, मेरी संस्कृति, मेरी सोच, मेरा सुबह उठना, सूर्य को पानी देना, योगा करना, मेडिटेशन करना, नेचुरोपैथी करना, ब्रह्म मुहूर्त को लेके आना, it's all tourism. Now you would say, Dr. Gulshan Sharma, why are you talking about it? I am telling because we have done during this pandemic 149 countries survey. After the new education policy 2020 had come, we checked up in Canada, we checked up in USA, we checked up in Europe, we checked up in Latin America, we checked up in Central Asia, we checked up in Australia, New Zealand, and we asked the people, would you like to come for higher education to India? Would you like to come for normal graduation, masters and all? They said, only one subject we would like to travel to India. Only one subject. I said, what is that? They told, spiritual tourism. We want to experience India. We want to know your Vedas. We want to know what is yoga, what is meditation. And if I'm talking this evening to you at this point of time at 8:53 with the energy of a 20-year-old boy, in the biological clock of 72 years, it's my lifestyle, it's my living, it's my passion, it's my dedication, it's my devotion. So all my teachers, all my educators, all my sector skill council, those are from travel and tourism. If you feel you're training somebody or you're teaching tourism, please stop from today itself. Let children feel it's integral part of their life. It is not a separate subject. Coming to the final conclusion. India is beautiful. India has got all seasons. India has got mountains, rivers. It has got everything whatsoever you can say. Last 40 years of my life being a North Indian, being a Punjabi, I have dedicated my life to Northeast part of India. 52,000 children have gone free of cost without paying single rupee. And the chamber is proud to share, we brought India's first finishing school for service industry, where the etiquettes, the manner, the gesture, the body language, the personality, the communication, the connectivity, the articulation and confidence building, nothing else is required. If I am going to Madam Lekha ma'am for the interview to the Indigo, she's not interested to look at my degree, what percentage I've got, what gold medal. She would say, who are you? What can you do for Indigo? How can you bring proud and something new to us? So ladies and gentlemen, India totality might be having everything, but we got to focus on certain things. Number one, the Honorable Prime Minister has conveyed, let's travel to 15 places till December 2022. May I make a humble request? Let's travel at least 5 places in the Northeast part of India. Northeast deserves that. And all of us, we must travel to Northeast. Then you would realize what Northeast part of India is, what the people are, what is their culture, what is their heritage, and how wonderful these people are. Number 2, wellness tourism. Wellness tourism. We are using in this country medical tourism. I have done a lot of work for 40 years. Medical tourism is curing a patient, but wellness tourism is adding value to the well-being of somebody's life. People do not want to be on a surgery table. They are interested, how can I recover myself in a natural way? That's what is the need. And finally, when I come on 2 more areas, very important, India still is rural. We live in villages. It's a agri-tourism. It's a rural tourism. It's a village tourism. It's a real tourism. Organic kheti, organic khana, apne aap hi ugaiye, Ayurveda, Ayush, all that is an important. Coming further on, the golf tourism, what Rajan Sehgal ji was telling, very important, niche and very good, because at least not too much of crowd, you hit the ball and keep walking for 2 hours, no problems. You don't bring any kind of a problem of the corona. The another kind of an industry which is binding the whole world together, and all my NRIs world over together, there is only one industry, and that's called media entertainment industry. Whether it's a Bollywood or it's a Tollywood or it's a Pollywood or it's a Telugu or it's a Kannada or it's a Malayalam or it's a Bhojpuri or it's a Bengali, anybody world over, I think the time has come the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Ministry of Culture, and all ministries should think about it. How can we get closer to the media entertainment industry? बहुत सारी pictures, बहुत सारी films, बहुत सारे television serials, they do not do well in India, but they do extremely well abroad. किसी भी इंसान से पूछ के देखिए जो भारत से 3 महीने के बाद वापस आ रहा होता है, वो कहता है मुझे अपनी किसी फ्लाइट में बिठा दो, मुझे अपने छोले भटूरे और कुलचे छोले खिला दो, मुझे अपना खाना खिला दो, मुझे अपना भारतीयता का कुछ दिलवा दो. So thereby I think we got to come very close to media entertainment industry. That part of tourism is very important. And finally, nature tourism, green tourism, ecotourism, flora and fauna tourism, wildlife tourism, kuch bhi baat kijiye aap, that all is needed. And PRCI is doing an extremely well. They are doing a wonderful job. And Rajan Sehgal ji is doing a commendable work. Every day I see him, and he is always in the webinar. And Jairam ji, I'm going to make a call to you after this webinar, how you have kept yourself so young, so energetic, so vibrant. I saw you so many years back, but yes, I think I got to get some mantra from you on that. With these words, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful time. And thank you very much for the patience. And I'm grateful to Rajan Sehgal ji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words. And you can see that photograph of Chandigarh. I have sent it to Rajan. Just now I have sent to Rajan. Please see that.
Okay. So I will definitely share this picture. So thank you very much, all the panelists. If anybody wants to share before, so these Sopri ji will give vote of thanks. Anybody wants to share something? Lekha ji, Narendra ji, Jairam ji, you are most welcome. So Mr. Jairam, you have seen how full of energy our panelists are, and I will definitely bring them to Goa for our annual.
Particularly Gulshan Saab, Sharma ji. Yeah. You have to come. I'm sure that Rajan, you will accompany Rajan on that day. I'll reserve your room. No problem at all. Lekha ji, you too, please. And all your speakers of the day, you know, I will tell my members of the, you know, room reservation, and I've already informed them. Please book for a few rooms for Rajan and their gang.
Jairam sir, I'll take 1 minute with the permission of the entire panel and with the permission of the chairperson. I would just tell that T. Vinay Kumar ji was talking about Kerala. Can you believe in 1983, right from Ponvudi to Thiruvananthapuram to Varkala to Alleppey to Koyalon to Vipin to Ernakulam to Trichur to Kottayam to Thekkady to Idukki to Periyar to Shabramali and to Ayyappas, wearing the black clothes like a Punjabi and singing the song of Chattakari, Yennum Ventaraten Adum Navela, Yashamalasaran Kochum Navela. That is the kind of a love and affection we enjoy with Kerala. God's own country, and Amitabh Kanji doing so extremely well. You are wonderful people, and that is at the back of my palm as far as Kerala is concerned. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think we don't forget Lekha ji, because she is the one who has to brought everybody to go.
Thank you, Shikha ji. Thank you.
Lekha has to fly. Lekha has to fly all of us to Goa.
Absolutely. Please, you're all welcome aboard Indigo.
No, that's true. But please block your date. It's 18th, 19th September.
17th and 18th, sir.
17th and 18th September, and you please block your date. And I think we'll take the entire panel over there.
You know, just now I got a call. I got a call from Ravindran. He was asking me for what happened to your tourism guys, and I am talking to them here now. They will all come. You reserve that tourism session for some people. I said just now, you know, that is Gulshan ji. When you were there, we had only a couple of chapters. You know, now we have 41 chapters as of now, and another 4 chapters are going to come in North India, and plus even our Dubai chapter is going to become UAE. Some more small countries are joining that chapter. That is the good sign now. This pandemic also gave us a lot of push, and we are also day by day becoming rich in PR.
Yes, And Mr. Jairam, wherever your opening chapter, whether it's in India or outside, Indigo is flying to all these destinations.
Yeah. We'll take help of our Lekha ji, definitely. She is the Director of Corporate Communications, and definitely we will take her as one of our committee members so that it will be easy for us also to make all this program to happen. Yeah.
And you know, I was
in fact, we were planning our annual awards in Dubai, in fact, but because of this pandemic problem, we had to do it in India this time also. Anyway, we have next few years, anyway, one of the years we'll definitely do it. Vinay Kumar, in fact, we were discussing on this only. Let us have it in Dubai next year.
Definitely. We'll give you a great support in Dubai also. And, you know, just I was taking some time to finalize the panel for Goa on tourism subject, because there is a reshuffle in the Ministry of Tourism also. The new ministers have come. And today the new DG has taken over. And he has come for the first time in our webinar for this Southeast Asia Golf Tourism Show. And he also promised me that he will join. He is the Director General of Ministry of Tourism, also the Managing Director and Chairman of ITDC. So any senior officials in the Ministry of Civil Aviation and Ministry of Tourism. So thank you very much, all the panelists. I think we are on time. And now over to Sudhir Sopti for vote of thanks. Sudhir ji, please give a vote of thanks to all the panelists.
Thank you, Rajan. At the outset, I would like to thank everyone. It had been really a wonderful interaction, listening all the wonderful people. It's a very happy occasion today, I must say, to have this webinar happen, which coincided with World Humanitarian Day. You know, this makes the occasion more important. And we are also extremely happy to have joining hands with Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma and his Waddi Chamber ICSI, which is a very big, vibrant platform, connecting with large number of people across the globe. And I think we are proud of Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma to have on board with us. Tourism, as we say, is the lowest hanging fruit in the country. And, you know, in the given situations, 90% of the demands in India, when we talk of tourism, is for domestic tourism. So domestic tourism is the one and the only one. The challenge before us, how we make this domestic tourism a pleasant experience for all the travelers to happen. And I think everybody is contributing in its own way very efficiently. I would like to convey special thanks to Mr. M.B. Jairam ji, Chief Mentor and Chairman Emeritus, PRCI, who had been the guiding force and the man behind taking PRCI on the greater heights. Today, the PRCI can boast of having over 40 outlets across the country and spreading its wings outside the country as well. The credit goes to Mr. Jairam, who Rajan earlier mentioned, is very sincerely working very, very hard and devoting most of his time along with his efficient team. My special thanks to Mr. T. Vinay Kumar, a dynamic national president who is ever smiling and taking all the people together and the initiative forward. We are also privileged to have Mr. Surendra ji, an eminent and a distinguished person who had been associated with 4 former Prime Ministers of India. It's a matter of great privilege for all of us to have listened to him, and his the kind of inputs he gave are extremely valuable to all of us. Major Dr. Gulshan Sharma, I need not say more about him. You must have made your own opinion after listening to him. He is an institution himself who is doing so much for the country, for the tourism industry, and how he's talking about tourism, that it should be integral part of the education policy of the country. I think it's just a very, very loaded, it's a very, very valuable, it's very thoughtful idea. And I'm sure with his kind of inputs and his ongoing efforts, we will certainly achieve tourism to, you know, move forward in a much better way. Ms. Lekha, Director, Corporate Communication and Brand Reputation, Indigo. Thank you very much, madam. Your inputs are very valuable for us, and we have learned a lot. We will do our best to follow the kind of, you know, protocol you have apprised us with and take things forward. Ms. Nikita Das, hospitality professional, have been a great contributor. I am also happy to tell you that this is the second occasion that she had been on our panel, and she is very learned and an experienced person, and we are extremely thankful to her for joining us over. So thanks again, and I think it had been a wonderful, memorable and a knowledgeable session we have had, and we look forward to have another session soon on a similar platform with the help of Dr. Gulshan Sharma once again. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.